All season long, you've had a chance to follow along with the Milford High hockey team as they traversed their 2014-2015 regular season. The team finished up the year with a record of 11-7-2, earning the number 8 seed in the MIAA playoff tournament. Before the playoffs got underway, our executive director, Rob O'Keefe, made his way to the team's final practice to get the thoughts of players and coaches prior to their big playoff showdown.
Schuler cuts to the inside, shakes off a man. Here's a chance. Now laid for Lynch. Lynch checked off the puck, though. Throw it toward the net. In!
On February 18th, the Scarlet Hawks officially punched their ticket to the playoffs for the third straight season, thanks to a 4-1 road victory over Taunton. Since then, the coaches and players have been able to use their final regular season games to do some fine-tuning on their offensive and defensive schemes. The regular season finale against Canton came at a perfect time to give Milford one final test against a playoff-bound opponent.
I feel great. You know, we came off of, I'm going to call it a good loss against Canton yesterday. The way we played was just tremendous. You know, we made a mistake late in the first period, and it cost us. We didn't lock on to the winger who came across and just picked up the puck, loose puck, I should say. And then, we were down 1-0 early, and then we were down 2-0. But we never gave up. You know, we battled for 45 minutes. We limited our mistakes. You know, we made sure we had back pressure coming back so the defense were allowed to step up. So if we can carry that same momentum and that same, and play with that same poise, class, and composure, I think we're going to be just fine tomorrow.
Mike and I were talking. I'm saying, I don't even know why we're playing this game. But we talked today, and we said this could have been the best thing that ever happened to us, is playing this game and playing it the way we did play it. You know what I mean? I think the kids had a lot of confidence. I think they felt good about themselves after the game because they competed hard for 45 minutes against a very good team.
Now the Hawks are readying themselves for a first-round matchup with the North Attleboro Rocketeers. These two teams have gotten to know each other well over the last several seasons, and Sean Burns has been there all the way as this rivalry has bloomed.
Feeling pretty confident. We hate North a lot. They were the first team that we ever played in the Hockomock when we moved to D2 2 years ago. And ever since then, that was kind of a chippy game. And ever since then, it's just kind of always been a rivalry between us.
Gilliott with a nice pick, though, leading ahead for Wild. Wild looking for the opportunity. Wild in, shot, scores! Drew Wild with the response!
The two teams split their regular season games this year, with each side notching a victory on the road. That experience has given head coach Mike Balzerini and his team a very good idea of what to expect when the two teams meet on playoff ice.
On defense, number 22, Ryan Ma, he's a very good defenseman. He's solid. He likes to take the body. I believe number 3, Paul Baker, is another good, solid defenseman. He holds the blue line. He doesn't pinch. He doesn't make too many mistakes. And then, of course, on forward, you have number 10, Sean Young, their captain, who's just a great player. He can put the puck in the net. He can make great passes. Number 9, Andrew Cason, is another strong forward. He's paired. He's on a line with Sean, and so those 4 players, especially, we've got to make sure that we know when those guys are on the ice. And their goaltender is strong. He's a big kid, covers a lot of the net. So we've got to make sure that we bury our chances and get pucks to the net, create some traffic in front of him, and hopefully the puck bounces our way.
They got a really good line. Their defense are kind of brutal, but I'd say their first forward line probably has the best chemistry I've ever seen in my life, and that's including playing teams like Franklin and Canton. Their goalie's pretty solid. If I remember the first time, we got like close to 50 shots on them, only 4 goals, so that's pretty impressive.
It's clear now that the Scarlet Hawks hockey program has made tremendous progress over the last 4 years, and everyone in the locker room understands that grabbing their first playoff victory is the next accomplishment they all hope to achieve.
3 years ago was the first time we made the playoffs, and really I don't know how many years. My first year coach, we missed it by I think two or 3 points, and then to make the playoffs 3 out of the 4 years, just speaks volumes, on behalf of the team and the program itself. And like Coach Hogan said, having the kids buy into what we're telling them and just, making sure that they follow through and doing the little things correct, especially come playoff time, because, a good team like North Attleboro, everybody comes into the playoffs with a clean slate. We can't look behind and we can't look forward. We've got to make sure that, we take it one shift at a time, one period at a time. But, a playoff win would be huge for the program, the high school, the town. So I'm hoping, again, if we play well like we did last night against Canton, I think our chances are pretty good.
If they play the game a certain way, they can beat anybody. And hopefully that's the message that they're going to take into the game tomorrow night.
There's one thing that all the seniors want to do before we graduate, and it's beat North in the playoffs. So we'll get it.
And so with the team ready for battle, it was time for the playoffs to begin. Milford and North Attleboro would make their way to Franklin for their round 1 matchup. Here now are the full highlights from the game. As the curtain was lifted on the 2015 MIAA Playoff Tournament, the action shifted from the friendly confines of the Blackstone Valley Ice Arena to the Pirelli Veterans Skating Arena as the Milford Scarlet Hawks prepared for a third matchup on the year with their Hockomock League rival, the North Attleboro Rocketeers. Prior to taking the ice, the two teams witnessed an incredible showdown between Oliver Ames and Medway that resulted in a shootout that saw 36 shooters before Medway finally walked away with the victory. Would Milford see the same level of drama in their matchup? Less than 2 minutes into the first period, it would be Milford who would see the first chances to take the lead. Pete Schuler finds the puck on his stick in the neutral zone and quickly feeds it ahead to Aiden Wild. Wild moves around one defender before sending a hard shot on net, but North goalie Brady Grunewald is able to make the save. Off the ensuing face-off, Milford is able to control and feed it back to the blue line. RJ Stansbury throws the puck into a crowd and it takes a tricky bounce towards the net, but rolls just wide. Eventually, the puck would work around the boards back to Sean Burns, who would send it on net, but Grunewald makes the save again and we remain scoreless. Just seconds later, it's North who sees their first prime scoring chance as standout forward Sean Young accelerates through center ice with one defender to beat. He puts a good shot on net, but Brian Ireland makes the save and then watches the rebound chance comes right back in and glances off the far post but does not cross the goal line. Later in the period, Alec Gilliott would receive the pass all alone in the face-off circle to the right of Grunewald, but the North goalie would deny Gilliott the score. That would not be the last time the sophomore would be presented with a chance to give Milford the lead. Into the later stages of the first, Milford would continue to knock on the door as Aiden Wild creates the turnover at center ice and takes the puck all the way on net, but his shot gets deflected away. He fights for it in the corner and gets a centering pass away to Griffin Lynch, but again Grunewald was up to the challenge. A series of great chances for the Scarlet Hawks throughout the opening period, but the game would remain scoreless as the teams hit the first intermission. Into the second period now, North Attleboro's offense would start to hit their stride. Here the puck ends up in the middle of a crowd of bodies. Spencer Lathrop tries to get the clear to the neutral zone, but Sean Young keeps it alive, then gets around Lathrop before dishing the pass to Andrew Cason, whose shot gets past Ireland, and North Attleboro is able to take the all-important first lead of the game. Milford looking to respond later in the second. Now it's Alec Gilliott who moves the puck around the boards where Drew Wild finds it. Wild sends a nifty no-look pass behind his back to Nick Mobilia in prime position in front of the net, but Grunewald denies him. With 4.5 minutes to go in the second, North would go on the attack again as they'd send a flurry of shots on net against Brian Ireland. First it's Zach McGowan who walks into the low slot trying to muscle the puck past Ireland. Ireland makes the save and Schuler is able to clear the rebound away into the corner, but eventually Paul Baker receives it at the top of the face-off circle and he lets it go on net as well, but the save is made. Milford then nearly gets the clear, but the North defender elevates and gloves the puck down, keeping it in the zone. The Rocketeers get it onto the stick of Andrew Whistler, who takes the shot, and Ireland deflects it with the blocker, but right to North forward Jason McNeely, who tries for the rebound chance, but Ireland stands strong again. 4 strong shots on net for North, but Brian Ireland was up to the challenge. The teams would move into the third period with the score remaining 1-0 in favor of North Attleboro. In the opening minute of the frame, Drew Wild enters the attacking zone with speed, with North defenseman Ryan Ma with him all the way. Wild would go down after heavy contact from Ma, and the refs would call the penalty. Somehow confusion would ensue on the ice, and eventually the penalty would be assessed to forward Andrew Cason, so North benefits by keeping one of their top defensemen on the ice for the penalty kill. Would it make a difference? On the power play, it's Gilead who collects behind the net and passes out to Croteau at the point. Croteau then sends it towards net where Nick Mobilia was there waiting. Mobilia redirects it in for the power play goal, and less than 60 seconds deep into the third period, the game was all tied up at 1. Still in the opening minute of the third, Sean Burns, working in his own zone, ends up with a high stick that catches Zach McGowan in the face. That would send one of Milford's top D-men into the box to give North Attleboro a power play opportunity. North would not cash in through the majority of the man advantage, but with the penalty expiring, Sean Young would find Mark Ventola at the net. Ventola would continue to jam away in front of Brian Ireland until finally the puck squirted through. All kinds of momentum swings in the opening minutes of the third period, but this one swung the lead back into North Attleboro's favor, now up 2-1. Penalties would continue to be the story of the period. With just over 8.5 minutes to play, Sam Croteau would take the puck into the offensive zone. He curls around the boards and gets the centering pass away before receiving this hard hit to the boards by Mark Ventola. Ventola would be assessed a major penalty, giving Milford 4 minutes with the man advantage. Milford would waste no time, however. Off this face-off, Drew Wild would receive the puck at the point. He sends a laser towards the net, and with great vision, Griffin Lynch is able to redirect it in for the score just 12 seconds into the power play, and once again the game would be all tied up. We take you down now to the final 10 seconds of the third period. Milford would throw everything they had at North goalie Brady Grunewald. First, it's Wild taking it to the net, but Grunewald makes the pad save and the rebound deflects wide. Then it's Burns who keeps it in and fires it back towards net, but wide once again. The puck bounces right to the stick of Alec Gilead with a wide open look, but Grunewald slides across the crease to save it as time expires. Both sides showing signs of exhaustion after 45 minutes of intense regulation hockey, but with the score tied at 2, this playoff game, just like the one played before it, would require overtime to decide who would advance. Here now is Patrick Garapi and Rob O'Keefe with the overtime call.
6 minutes on the clock, 5-on-5. Face-off won by Milford. Burns handles back in his own zone. Next goal sends the winner to a matchup with number 1 seed Westwood. Puck tied up here. Stick being held onto, kept in the zone. Ma throws it forward but hits some bodies. Creer forced to try and recover, but the speed of Wild gets to it first. Wild centers out front. Gilead scores! Alec Gilead has won the game for Milford, and they've got their first playoff victory. The team flies over the bench to mob him. Gilead, the hero tonight.
Sophomore Alec Gilead, after seeing Grunewald deny him time and time again in regulation, receives the pass from Drew Wild and buries it glove side high, delivering Milford their first playoff victory in school history. The Hawks eliminate North Attleboro from the playoffs, winning it by a final score of 3-2.